Hi, it's Nicola and welcome. Today we're talking first drafts. Don't start a first draft without these writing tips. And today's show is sponsored by the Setting Writing Goals course. It's 25% off at the moment. And also we have the free video training of Structure Success, which will help you come up with a rough outline for your book's chapters. And I'll have more about those coming up. But firstly, a quick introduction. Forever Young Autobiographies is the place to learn how to write life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on. And I'd be really grateful if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. So first drafts. This is a common topic that new writers come to me about. They say, Nicola, I can't get anything done. I'm agonizing over what to write and always self-editing. And yes, if you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a biography, or another life story project, you'll probably have the same issue with your first draft. Writing first drafts is hard. You do have an inner critic that's sort of playing along in your head there as you're writing. And it can paralyze your writing, so you only write a few sentences, if not a few words. And I was sort of in the same boat when I started my journalism career at a newspaper, and I had to write stories every day. But along the way and over the years, I've come up with a writing process that's sped up writing first drafts and kind of made it a little bit fun. So let's jump into the 3 tips I have for you today to make writing a first draft not so torturous. The first one I have for you today is the fire hose approach. Bit of a funny name, but I kind of named it because this is where we're trying to use a rough outline, but basically write as much as we can in a set amount of time. So you've got that fire hose of words and you're blasting it onto the page as much as you can in the set amount of time. The key here is to try and not reread what you've written. And I know this is really hard, especially if you're a perfectionist, but you just have to give it a go. You're trying to get as much quantity down, and then at the end you can go back and reread. So kind of like that saying, dance like no one's watching. Well, this is sort of write like no one's reading. You're doing a first draft. It's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. You just want to get as much down as you can, and it's just for you at this stage. That's what a first draft is. You can then come back at the end, reread, tighten and polish it a bit. And I think you'll probably be proud about what you've managed to come up with. So that's the fire hose approach. The second one is a little bit of a deadline, not really like a full hard deadline, but just something to give you a little bit of pressure, to push you to write a little bit more. Now, I've seen firsthand how hard deadlines can work in a newsroom environment where journos will smash out their copy, but I'm not proposing that for life story writers. What you want to do is just come up with a goal. Maybe it's a long-term goal, say you want to write this many chapters by that date, or it could be something short-term, like I want to achieve a page or this many words in, say, 10-15 minutes, whatever it may be. And I think it's the deadline mentality. It gets you that flight or fight, adrenaline rushing around, and you can actually sprint to the finish. I think it really does work, and it's worth a try. So whether you just pick a date on the calendar and aim for that, or you get your egg timer or your phone's alarm and you set a deadline, just give it a try, because I think it won't be perfect, but that's fine. It's the first draft. You'll probably be really excited to see how much detail you can get down in a deadline sort of environment. So that was number 2, try a deadline. Now the third one for today, it's the final tip I have for you, and that is being plain speaking. Now, when we're writing, sometimes we're moving sentences around, paragraphs around, and it really breaks the flow of our writing. We just can't get it into the rhythm. And it's almost cyclic. And one trick I have to break that cycle is to think about writing conversationally. So if you've got a story, say, about your childhood that you're trying to incorporate or write for your memoir, think about how you would tell that story to a friend or a family member. How would you speak it to them? So imagine you're meeting, say, at the beach, at a barbecue, even at a cafe or a pub to share a drink. You've got this great story, you're ready to tell your friend. How do you start it? What sentence do you write first? What details do you then include? And pay attention to the language and the tone of your writing. It's really interesting because we are surrounded by stories every day. As humans, we love stories. And we tell them without even thinking we're telling stories. And we're used to making them interesting and entertaining. So again, it won't be perfect, but just give it a go. I think you'll be surprised. So there's my 3 tips for you. That's what a life story coach knows about writing a first draft and getting over that overwhelm and procrastinating. So to recap, I had the fire hose approach, blast all those words onto the page and no rereading. The second was to set a deadline, and that can be a long in the future deadline, like a couple of weeks, or it can be right now, like 10 minutes, a writing sprint. And the third one was to think conversationally. Instead of focusing on writing it, what you were going to write, think about how you would tell a story as you speak, just to switch up the frame of mind. So I'm really hopeful that you will take these tips and banish that inner critic when you're writing your first draft, and it'll enable you to do it a lot more quickly and a lot more easily. And you can find out more about this topic over at my website, which is foreveryoungautobiographies.com/first-draft. There'll be all this information plus some links to some really helpful resources. So go over and check it out, and while you're there or while you're here, leave me a comment. How is your first draft going? What's working? What's not working? Maybe I can help you out, or we can share some ideas. So leave me a comment or go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/contact. Now earlier I mentioned the special deals I have going at the moment, which is the Setting Writing Goals course. This is perfect if you are doing a first draft, because I go through setting your writing dreams, your goals, and then we break that down even into a writing schedule. So I highly recommend that you check that one out. It is on special it's a mid-year sort of motivational boost. And you can go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/deal to find out more. Now also I have a free video training for you, which is the Structure Success Training. And this is where we take key events and key memories and we organise the ones that we want to keep to write in our book into a basic chapter outline. Really handy if you're doing your first draft, because it lays it out exactly as you need to write, and you can get a lot of momentum from having the power of a rough outline. So to get that one, it's free. You just need to go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/structure success sign up. So please, I really hope you checked both those things out. I think they will be really helpful to you. Now I'll be back again really soon with a new topic. So again, I'd be totally grateful if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. And until then, happy writing.